You're drinking your favorite coffee early in the morning and skimming through your messages when all of a sudden you're hit with comments that hit you like a cold shower. Someone said something mean or did something bad, and now having to deal with poisonous people makes your day seem a little less hopeful. Responses could change a lot. Have you ever noticed that in dynamics, one negative comment can sometimes stick with your ideas longer than a compliment? It's like a stain on your favorite shirt that will never go out of style. Your power is the ability to see the stain and choose not to let it ruin your day or your shirt, knowing that these hard times say less about you and Marcus learn more about the other person's inner struggles and fears in his meditations. Aurelius taught us a timeless pearl of wisdom. If someone accuses you of hating or despising someone else, you should go to their souls. Once you do that and find out who they really are, you'll know that you don't need to be in pain over the way other people feel about you. Viewpoint pushes us to look past what people say and do and understand why they do what they do. This situation of dealing with negativity also presents a unique chance to reflect, so I'm going to give you a task. Take a deep breath and peel back the layers of social norms and standards that hide the real you. Are you letting someone else's bad mood get to you, define you by the day they judge you or your worth? Let's set out on this path of self-exploration, jointly figuring out ways to deal with poisonous people while also strengthen ones. Self-awareness is our feeling of self. You have probably encountered someone in your life self, knowledge who just appears to press all the wrong buttons, as we frequently refer to these individuals poisonous since they disperse negativity like smoke, making it challenging to, what if I told you there was a way to get past this haze and see clearly without using self-awareness is the first step towards losing your way, just as if you're allergic to smoke, you avoid it. Knowing how you react to toxic people can help you maintain your emotionally. It reminds me of a lesson I learned from an elderly fencing instructor teaching his pupils that the true art of fencing was not only attacking but also illustration of understanding, when to back off every time a poisonous person lashes out. When you execute a flawless sidestep, you don't take the hit, since you're knowing your own boundaries and being sufficiently respectful of them to prevent others from crossing them. This doesn't need rage or a counterattack, is just a calm, steady awareness of who you are becoming. It's not as hard as you might think to apply this idea to your daily life. Think of it like lacing your shoes. You have to pay attention to it at first, but after a while it becomes second nature. Take a step back and ask yourself, why does something bother me? What can I learn from it? These questions aren't meant to defend other people's actions, but to make you stronger mentally. Take a moment to understand that this path will not be easy. It's not easy to be self-aware and sort through other people's negativity. Sometimes it seems easier to just reply and throw back what was thrown at you, but that doesn't feel good. Victory, because every time you react instead of answering, it shows who you are. Remember that you're not making this choice because it's easy. You're making it because it's the best choice for you. This is about building your inner strength, not from arrogance, but from a place of power and peace. It's not about accepting the bad while acknowledging it and not letting it control how you act. In fact, it makes you stronger over time. When you look up at the sky, do you see that forgiveness and remembering are stronger than each other? Forgiveness and remembering are stronger than each other. Think of the stars and how they shine brightly despite the darkness around them as the people who make your life better by showing you the way. VAEMP, empathy and understanding. On the other hand, you can run into black holes that represent poisonous people who pull you into their darkness and drain you of your happiness and energy. Next, Is it possible to move through this cosmic dance of relationships without seeing yourself as a spacecraft powered by energy? You are drawn into these black holes not by hydrogen, but by courage and discernment. This courage is your pardon power cell that frees people from their sins and frees you from all poisonous influence, that frees you from the chains of resentment, to unpleasant people. Thoughts and anger aside, every spacecraft needs a navigational device. Your memory is where all of life's lessons are stored, and it's also the quiet voice telling you not to do something. If a known black hole is coming up behind your plane, you should turn around. The truth is that we are not limited by the bad things that have happened to us in the past. Every lesson they teach us is like a star map, pointing us in the direction of safer orbits. Every strong emotion we feel when we're around a toxic person is a reminder of what's stopping us and changing how we interact with them. This mix of forgiveness and memory is like a compass guiding us through the complicated constellation of forgiveness and memory. Working together. So that you don't have to repeat the same mistakes, I want you to think about your path with these ideas in mind. Whose brilliance do you see in this celestial dance of relationships, and from whom do you need to use forgiveness as fuel to stray like a black hole moves you along and lets your memory guide you? Let us strive to be the spacecraft that, guided by a refined grace, makes its way through cosmic chaos through the strength of forgiveness, and directed by the knowledge of the past three emotions. Thoughts. Being emotionally stable around toxic people is like hiking in thick fog. You can't see where you're going, and every step feels uncertain. But what if I told you there was a way to clear the mist that came from thinking about that one person who, no matter what, never seems to be shaken like a shaky, trusty companion? It's not about being a rock. Being stoic means that we respond appropriately to the outside world instead of trying to control it. For example, when we are exposed to toxins, we stop reacting instead of getting involved in the drama. It's like being in the middle of a hurricane outside while inside this room is calm. This lets us act from a calm, reasonable place after taking a breath and thinking about how we want to let the outside events affect our inner peace and how we want to let them affect our stoicism. Yes, awareness training is a trendy idea right now, but do we really do it? Mindfulness actually helps us take a step back and see that the key to navigating chaos without getting sucked in is not ignoring the toxic elements, but rather noticing and accepting them without letting them ruin our peace. You are the creator of your own tranquil, creator powerful for making defining moments. So the next time you are in a bad situation, remember that you are the creator of your own tranquil. Imagine living in a society where every interaction is like a bright and positive brushstroke that adds to the beauty of your life. And then there are the dark, heavy and uneven relationships that toxic people have left in your life. These interactions don't just leave a mark. They change the whole masterpiece of your day, your attitude, and even how you see yourself right now. As self-sufficient masters, the ancient Stoics learned that not all criticism or bad vibes were worth their attention. They strengthened their inner defenses instead of running away from bad luck. What if I told you that dealing with toxic people could be done in the same way? By making the right decisions instead of building an unbreakable wall that selectively lets people in and out, it doesn't make you less of a person, but instead makes you an organizer of your own tranquil. Think of your energy as a limit that you can't go over. Every time you talk to someone, would you rather give them a valuable resource like water in the desert, which is like giving them drugs that make your desert better? Seeds can be sown there to grow, or someone can spend and watch their money evaporate under the scorching sun. Use your energy wisely, not with arrogance or disrespect, but with the calm determination of a Stoic who knows the value of his own time and himself. It's about being quiet because your peace is not up. This is where I draw the line in communication for negotiation, so let's keep this point of view and see every day as a chance to make your masterpiece and put your efforts where they are most needed. Remember that setting limits out of self-respect is not an act of aggression. It's an act of intelligence and self-respect. Start today, not tomorrow, by getting rid of people, but by putting lines between your yard and the wild and seeing how your life changes. If this video speaks to you, please let us know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button and think about giving it a like to help get the word out. 5 lessons into energy intelligence. Have you ever had to share a space with someone whose energy turned your bright day upside down like a thunderstorm? Even the most calm minds might find it hard to navigate the rough waters of relationships with toxic people. But let's look at the idea of energy intelligence from the inside out. Think of your energy as a shield, like an old city wall, that keeps you calm and keeps unwanted negativity away. Now think about having the power to choose in some situations. Just like you can choose what fuel to put in your car based on how long it will last and how well it will run, you can choose how to deal with people who drain your energy. You can get the most out of your super fuel by choosing not to interact with anyone at all, or by reacting with patience and understanding. This will put you on the right track and make sure that your mental health is not affected by avoiding confrontation. To stay calm, you need to do more than just control yourself. You need to make sure that the environment around you is so stable that not even the worst storm can disturb it. As you shake your foundation, remember that you are stable not because you are a tree firmly planted in the ground, but because you know how to bend and sway with the wind without breaking through. Your strength and resilience stop harmful energy in its tracks, leaving it with no choice but to fade or pass. I want you to think about how you've been controlling your energy when things have been hard. Think back to times when someone else's bad mood got the best of you. What did you do? Did you shine even brighter, leading the two of you, or did their storm block your sky? Getting back to peace isn't the point of this journey. It's about realizing that you have a storehouse of strength and knowledge ready to be used to get past any problem that comes your way. Take a moment to breathe and think about the future power you have. How will you use this energy and intelligence to stay peaceful and help others find their way by helping them remember the actual test? It's more important how you dance in the storm than how you stay out of it. Strength inside Reign 6. Keep your eyes on your goals. You'll know when you've focused on the goals you really want, whether it's getting in shape, learning a new skill, or even getting your personal projects done. You seem to be going in the right direction, but all of a sudden you run into people or situations that make you feel down. These interactions can throw you off balance like a windstorm. To put it mildly, guiding a paper airplane in the right direction is a frustrating job. Jordan's story is one example. Jordan put a lot of money into starting a small online business, but his family and friends have questions about the company. Came in waves yelling, while others offer safer routes, which are situations that many of us are familiar with, rather than getting into pointless arguments or trying to support his goals. What can we learn from Jordan's journey? Having a strong belief in your goal and not letting negativity get in the way of your progress is key. This leads to the art of dealing with poisonous people, which is called the Stoics, were aware of something important, so they focused on the inside changes to others that, let's face it, are out of our control, but we can easily control how we react to things. It all comes down to keeping a mental defense system that keeps negativity out and clouds our judgment. If spirits were to imagine a raincoat in a downpour, it would still rain, but it would keep you dry. That's the kind of resilience we want. So try it again later when you're having doubt or doubts about your plans or hopes for Jordan. Instead of trying to convince people who don't agree with you, put your energy into making your own path stronger. Simply nod and smile, and then carry on with your work. You have goals to reach, and negative thoughts have no place in your mind. Having to pay rent, take a calm stance. Keep your mind on your tasks, enjoy the process, and let the descent fade into the background. You are the only one who can lead you down this road. Road 7. Looking for help. Sometimes we come across people who are looking for help, coming across as someone who puts our peace of mind at risk in every way. There are people in your life whose presence on a sunny day feels like a storm cloud. It's like you're stuck in mud. The harder it is to stay calm, the deeper you sink. Anger or dissatisfaction is a complex dynamic that we often face when dealing with toxic people. It tests our patience' stoicism, but it's more than that. Let's look at how reaching out can help, because offering help in these situations shows intelligence rather than weakness, just like a lone candle can light up a dark room. Confiding in someone who can relate to your problems can help you meet new people who cross paths you hadn't thought of before and strengthen our resolve, not by fighting us, but by reminding us of our own inner strength picture. Having an elder by your side who can help you through the toxins with wisdom gleaned from a lifetime of experience is the kind of priceless help that can help us develop the stoic strength within ourselves. We need to be able to tell when outside perspectives can be helpful. It's about realizing that even if we can't change other people's behavior, we can change how we react to it. By practicing the art of stoicism from above, we can become detached and observe the situation from a higher level. It's like enlarging a map to find alternate routes and routes we might have missed when focusing on getting help. We give ourselves time to think, reflect, and carefully consider our answers, making sure they are in line with our morals and feelings of calm. Please take a moment to think about your own experiences, getting along with tough people. What did you do in these situations? Have you tried to go it alone, relying only on your own strength? Or have you tried to find an uplifting view that can change everything? Remember that the real mark of a stoic person isn't being in pain all by themselves, but knowing when and how to use the wisdom that's around us to get through it more smoothly and with more understanding. Take charge of your bad self-image. How to stop saying bad things about yourself in 8 steps. Remember the first time you met someone whose energy was like a cloud of rain during a parade. We've all felt the weight of someone else's negativity dragging us down, and our self-talk is often the cause. When we deal with dangerous people, this could be our strength or our weakness. If you think of your thoughts as a garden, each one should be seen as a weak plant that needs to be made stronger by planting seeds of resilience and strength. But if you add doubts and worries, those poisonous weeds will start to choke out all the good, and leaving isn't always an option. For this reason, the ancient Stoic saying comes into play. It's not what happens to us that makes us strong, but how we react to it. So when you're navigating the reg, pay close attention to the conversation you have with yourself. Instead of asking yourself, why must I deal with this? Think about, how can I handle this? And become stronger as a result of the experience. It's not just words when you have understanding or the guts to stand your ground and change your point of view. Taking back control of your own life is another thing that detachment can help you with. Detachment is a small but powerful thing that is neither cold nor heartless. It's just smartly allocating your energy. Think of someone's criticism as arrows that can't penetrate your sense of worth. Just because the occasional sting won't hurt doesn't mean the arrows won't hurt you. Just think about how often you let them. Outside criticism to change the way you talk to yourself, Controlling this means realizing your worth and understanding that it doesn't mean putting up a wall around your heart. You have the power to act, and sometimes that means just choosing not to give your serene stoicism. Doesn't mean living a life without emotions. But when you're deciding if a fight is worth your heartbeat, remember that you are the only one who can really control your life. If you are 9 solution-focused methodology approach, have you ever wondered how to deal with the poisonous people you know? It's like trying to find your way through thick fog, where the air feels thick and every step feels uncertain. Having a solution-focused mindset based on the ideas of this Stoic method makes it possible to turn these interactions into chances for personal growth and emotional intelligence instead of sources of irritation, as you might think. Changing the story to relationships requires coming up with new ideas. It's like playing chess. You have to plan ahead for several moves and avoid getting caught up in the moment. This means responding calmly, which is a trait that many people respect but few people are good at, and listening more than you say. This, a strategy. You can stay calm and fight the urge to join the chaos if you are creative. These situations that allow you to adapt are your best friend if you can stay true to your beliefs. Picture yourself as a tree that is firmly planted but can bend with the wind. You sway, but don't break when faced with these situations. Being resilient in the face of harmful storms strengthens your character and gives you the tools to weather any storm. Now I want you to think about how you react when someone is mean or dishonest. Remember that you may not be able to stop bad people from being around, but you can stop yourself from reacting by taking a calm, problem-solving approach. You're not only escaping the negative traps, but you're also building a strong, peaceful life with honor. Remember that what makes us unique is not the problems we face, but how we deal with them. Tend is how we get past them. Avert pointless arguments by carefully choosing your fights and avoiding pointless arguments. There is advice that has been around for a long time, but it is more important than ever in this day and age, when dealing with toxic people can make every interaction feel like a trap. When you're in the dark, you never know when you might run into a wall. The important thing to remember is not to charge at every wall you see. Instead, use your senses to find your way and pick which paths to follow, while others are just frustrating dead ends with no way out or wealth at the end. Realizing this can save you a lot of stress. You might be surprised to learn that sometimes the best thing you can do is not to respond at all. This is because silence speaks louder than words in the fray. When poisonous people criticize you, they often want to see if what they say changes you. Hit home that by choosing not to deal with them, you're hurting their sales. The problem isn't something to ignore, it's something you should choose not to let control you. Your energy is valuable. Use it for important fights, and stay away from the trap of trying to reason or argue with someone to change their toxicity. If you try to put out a fire with gasoline, it will get worse. Instead, ask them serious questions to help them. Think about the issue from a different point of view. If you want this plan to work, you have to switch from conflict to discussion all the time, which is fine. The goal isn't to always beat them, but to keep your cool and respect while fighting. Your empathy is your weapon and shield, and your patience is your shield. Figuring out where the other person is coming from doesn't mean you agree with or support what they're doing. Instead, it shows that you're strong enough to look past appearances and remember that everyone is going through their own problems, some of which you don't know about. Being patient doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart to think about what you're saying before you say it. I want you to take a moment to think about the difficult people you've dealt with in the past. Do you see any patterns? Are there fights you've been in that were not worth your time? Stopping your emotions from taking over is not the same as being emotionless. You have to choose where to focus your efforts because you can't fight every conflict. So the next time you might be in a conflict, Take a deep breath and ask yourself if it's really worth your peace of mind. 11 ways to spot signs of fake friendliness. It's amazing how quickly a simple talk can turn into a full-blown argument. False friendliness is like a small spark that grows into a destructive fire. Everything that stands in its way is on fire, but here's the thing. As the saying goes, every spark needs to become a flame. When dealing with poisonous people, it's important to know when to act kind, but not really be like a fire extinguisher. Body language can tell you if someone is lying while pretending to be on your side. A smile that doesn't brighten their eyes or tightly folded arms across their chest are subtle signs of lying. That you're dealing with people who don't really care about you, but have other reasons for doing so. Take a moment to listen to what isn't being said. A warm, honey-voiced voice or an awkward laugh that breaks up the stress in the conversation could say more than words. These subtleties of communication are like invisible threads. Could they ever be pulling at your feelings to make you realize that things aren't what they seem to be? It seems that someone's speech can reveal their true intentions as clearly as day for those who choose to look. Now, think about the patterns in people's actions that let you know their true character is reliable and unwavering, like a drum beating on the chest. On the other hand, behavior that changes a lot depending on the observer is as fragile as a leaf blowing in the wind, showing that friendship is just a show. It's important to pay attention to these patterns because they apply to how people interact with each other. What keeps King honest is his ability to see through fake acts of kindness. Is more than just keeping yourself safe from bad relationships. It's also about creating an environment where real relationships can thrive. It's about being a beacon of honesty and a sea of lies that draws others to the edges of real relationships. So the next time you think something is wrong, trust your gut, pay attention to the signs, and remember that not everyone is on your side. Friendship is something that shouldn't be shaken. Stay the course as we near the end of our voyage. Through the regions of Stoicism, may the ancients' wisdom guide our thoughts and actions. Remember that the future is yours alone, and your peace is a castle guarded by wisdom. Never forget that we can always find inner strength when things get hard. Keep your cool and follow the Stoic way of life until next time. If you want to learn more about the Stoic way of life, join